of himself for dinner. Jamal hears his mother but doesn't respond to her yet as he is still in his bed. His mother reminds him that he said he wanted to get up by 7:30. Jamal suddenly realizes that he has to be somewhere, so he gets up and leaves. An old man stares at the young men on the basketball court playing through his window using binoculars. Like Agent 007, he observes his domain with unshakable calm and razor-sharp focus. Jamal shows up late to the court and joins them. Jamal shows off his basketball skills on the court by scoring continuously. They see a man coming out of a car near them holding a box with a bunch of stuff. One of Jamal's friends claims that he is bringing something for the guy from the window who always watches them play, but they have never seen what he looks like. They talk about the guy from the window in school, and one of the guys claims that his father saw him 20 years ago.
Dad saw the window, man. Shot 20 years ago.
Another guy claims that he heard that the guy killed somebody, and that's why he has to stay inside all the time.
He killed somebody, that's why he stay inside now.
One of the guys tells them that he used to know a girl that lived below the window, and she told him that she heard several tapping sounds of a knife. And one day, while they were on the phone, she started screaming, and the phone got hung up. That was the last time he heard from the girl.
And before she could even hang up, the phone disconnected. And that was the last time we seen you.
His friends make fun of history because they all know the girl for being a drug addict who has had several episodes.
Oh, you know that girl's a crack hole. Nah.
The guy asks Jamal if he believes him, but Jamal makes fun of him like the rest of the guys, saying it's just an old man staring from a window. The guy dares Jamal to go up to the house and prove it if he is so confident that there's no such thing there.
Right.
Whatever, man. I'll go up there.
The rest of his friends also dare Jamal to do the same, so Jamal agrees to prove his point. While at school, Jamal writes down in his notebook often, but doesn't show it to anybody. Jamal stares at the window where the secret man lives and wonders while playing basketball on the court. Jamal's mother is called by one of Jamal's teachers to discuss Jamal's assessment test scores. Jamal's mother was not aware that Jamal had taken an assessment test. The teacher tells her that Jamal's test results are remarkable.
Oh my God.
Jamal runs into his older brother while trying to get in a basketball game, and his brother gets him tickets for the game after hearing about his test results, but tells him to go straight home after the game.
Game is over, so you need to take your ass straight home. All right.
After the game, Jamal and his friends decide to sneak into the mysterious man's house. Some of his friends are hesitant about the plan, but Jamal assures them he can do it while they wait for him outside. They agree and tell Jamal to bring something from the house as proof. Jamal climbs up the emergency exit and sneaks into the house using the window. He walks slowly and opens a door to find a ton of books on the table and multiple TVs playing. He roams around the house and finds a knife, so he puts it in his backpack as a souvenir. He looks at all of the books on the shelf, but when he turns around, the man is sitting down in front of him, staring at him. So Jamal runs out to his friend without even carrying his backpack. Jamal and his friends run away as the man shouts and curses them out. Jamal returns home empty-handed, and his mother asks him where his backpack is. He tells her that he doesn't know where the backpack is.
Don't know. What do you mean you don't know?
Jamal goes to the court to play some basketball with his friends. They talk about what happened last night and ask him what was in his bag.
I'm not talking about the damn bag.
Jamal sees his backpack hanging on the man's window and sees a man with a car who usually brings stuff to the man who lives there. Jamal approaches a man and strikes up a conversation about his car, sharing everything he knows.
World War II, 14 cylinders, 2,300 horsepower.
The man listens nervously and soon walks away.
No problem, man.
Suddenly, Jamal's backpack is tossed down from a window. At home, Jamal finds his notebook covered in the man's handwritten commentary, some praising, some harshly criticizing his work. Though upset, Jamal is intrigued by the man's apparent expertise. This unexpected critique leaves Jamal both unsettled and fascinated. The comments, sharp, insightful, and oddly personal, suggest a mind both brilliant and unstable. He begins to wonder who the man really is and whether wisdom can sometimes come from the strangest of places. What began as annoyance slowly turns into admiration. Later on, Jamal goes to the man's house and knocks on the door. The man opens a peephole and closes it just as Jamal tries to explain why he was in his house the other day.
Dead thing me and my boys do.
The man opens the peephole again, and Jamal asks the man if he can review his other works, or if he can write a new one and he can review it.
I can read some more of my stuff, or maybe I can write something else.
The man sarcastically tells him to write a novel with 5,000 words on why he should stay away from his house. Jamal takes it to heart and starts writing what he was told. After he is finished, he comes by the man's house to drop it off.
Take your goddamn hand off my door.
Even though the man seems unwelcoming, Jamal leaves his writing on the man's door and leaves. At school, Jamal is called to the principal's office. When he walks in, he sees his mother and another man waiting for him. The principal tells him after his test scores, there's been some interest from private schools and introduces them to a man. The man represented a famous school, Mailer Callow.
Mailer Callow? That's right.
The school shows interest in Jamal and asks him if he would like to attend the school on a scholarship.
You could ever pay for this.
We're not asking you to.
They also asked Jamal if he was open to playing basketball for the team after evaluating his play from last year once he joined the school.
We won't be disappointed if you choose to play.
They ask him to come out for a couple of days, take a look and think it over. The man from the window watches them as Jamal and his mother have a conversation with a guy. Jamal goes to the man's house and sits on the stairs. The man then opens the door and tells him to come in. He is an old man who seems to be reading most of the time, as his house is covered in multiple books. He asks Jamal about the man in the car. Jamal tells him he is from a private school that offered him to study there for free. Jamal then starts telling him about his family history and how he started writing.
But that's when I started writing. What's your name?
The man makes rude remarks about Jamal's race and writing, as if testing his patience. He then hands Jamal a copy of his 5,000-word piece covered in sharp, unfiltered commentary. The next day, Jamal takes the train to Mailer and starts to sense he may be a little different from the people there. The quiet realization stirs something in him. The contrast between the man's harsh provocation and the unfamiliar environment in Mailer pushes Jamal to reflect more deeply on who he is and how he fits into the world around him. When he arrives at the school, he is approached by a girl named Claire who is asked to show him around. Claire tells him the rules and the regulations in the classes and about the teachers. She explains which teachers are strict and which ones are more easygoing, giving him little tips on how to make a good impression. After showing him around the school, Claire and Jamal say goodbye in the hopes of seeing each other the next day at lunch. As she walks away, Claire turns and gives him a small wave, and Jamal, feeling a bit more confident about his new environment, returns it with a grin. He looks forward to lunch tomorrow, wondering what conversations might await him. Jamal returns to the old man's house to ask him if he can continue reading his writing. Jamal tells the man what people outside say about him because he stays inside all the time. Jamal starts asking the man questions about the soup and his personal life. The man tells Jamal to stop asking personal questions. When Jamal presses him about the rude remarks, the man says he was testing his tolerance. He adds that he knew Jamal would come back and that he'd end up at the private school because he wasn't sure what he truly wanted in life. Jamal is left wondering if the man's harshness was a twisted form of mentorship, challenging him to confront the uncertainty he had been avoiding. Jamal joins the private school and starts playing basketball. During a game, a fellow player targets him with hostility, but Jamal does his best to stay focused. Later, he tells Claire, who dismisses the guy as a rich senior craving attention. She's working on a book by the famous author William Forster. When Jamal sees the author's photo, he leaves in shock.
I forgot something. I gotta check up on something.
Jamal researches William Forster in the computer lab and realizes the old man is the author.
Mr. Forster was unavailable for comment.
He returns to confront him, and though William doesn't deny it, he refuses to discuss his past.
You're the author.
He asks Jamal to keep it a secret, and Jamal agrees. In return, William offers to mentor him, on the condition that Jamal never asks about his life or why he only wrote one book. Jamal accepts and leaves.
Good. And good night.
Jamal's teacher announces that this year's writing competition has been scheduled. The bell rings, and before Jamal gets out of class, the teacher, Mr. Crawford, calls him and tells him he has to improve his work based on his records from his previous school. Crawford tells him he will have to impress him with his next work, or tell him if he should treat him as someone who is only here to play basketball. Jamal doesn't say anything and walks away after Crawford is done speaking. One of his classmates tell him that he did the right thing by not saying anything to Crawford, because students who say something to Crawford don't stay long after that.
We didn't say anything. It's the ones that do the running the trouble.
Jamal tells William they have been talking about his book at school. He also tells him Crawford's opinion on his book. William listens quietly, his expression unreadable. When Jamal finishes, William asks for Crawford's full name and remains silent for a moment, his eyes narrowing slightly as if deep in thought. There's tension in the room now, but Jamal can't quite tell what William is thinking. Just then, William's messenger arrives with books, papers, and socks, placing them neatly on the table before leaving with a nod. Jamal notices William using a different name with him, which catches him off guard.
Hey, Mr. Johansson. Mr. Johansson. Essentials are in.
It's a small moment, but it lingers with Jamal. The use of a different name suggests that William is hiding more than just his past as a writer. He's living behind layers, identities, and secrets.
Why are your socks inside out?
Because socks are badly designed.
William asks Jamal if he wants to impress Crawford and starts to work on his typewriter. He asks Jamal to do the same and writes. William teaches Jamal that the first rule of writing is not thinking and writing his first draft with his heart, then rewrite with his head. He hands Jamal a page of his first draft that he typed while talking to it. Jamal is impressed by William, but when it's time to write his first draft, he becomes stuck and spends hours sitting in front of the typewriter. William then hands him one of his drafts and tells him to simply start to type it to make his flow start. And when he finally feels his own words start typing on their own, Jamal starts typing and starts writing his own words with his ideas as William gives his approval.
Yes! You're the man now, dog.
By the time Jamal is done, William is asleep, and just as he is about to leave with the writing he did, William stops him and tells him whatever they write in this apartment stays in this apartment. So Jamal leaves the writing on the desk and leaves. He then continues writing on his own, even though his house isn't the best environment to stay focused on. While Jamal is playing basketball at school, he gets into a fight with the same guy who was giving him a hard time on his first day here.
Our season begins in 1 week.
The coach makes them shoot hoops until one of them loses, even though it is a tight score. Jamal scored higher, and the loser had to do runs. Crawford calls Jamal to his office and informs him there has been quite a bit of improvement from his last work. While watching TV together, Jamal tells William that Crawford wasn't exactly full of praise as he expected. William tells him that Crawford took a job as a teacher when his book didn't get published years ago. So instead of writing himself, he decided to teach others how to write. He tells Jamal that he should take Crawford's words as a motivation. Jamal plays well in his game and scores big. Afterward, his friend invites him to hang out, but Jamal declines as he's invited to a school party. At the party, Jamal meets influential people, but Claire pulls him aside to explain the typical dynamics. He learns it's her house and they talk about his life and friends. Jamal shows Claire how to play basketball and they begin to grow closer. This shift in their relationship shows Jamal stepping into new social circles while still holding onto his roots, creating a blend of worlds that complicates his path forward.
Dribble. Okay. Like.
Claire's father interrupted them, and Jamal could see his clear disapproval of their relationship. William continues to give Jamal mentorship on his writing, and their friendship grows as they spend more and more time together. Jamal asks William if he has gotten married. William tells him he hasn't, but gives him advice on how to win Claire's heart. William tells him a way to a woman's heart is an unexpected gift at an unexpected time, so Jamal gives Claire a gift. It is a signed copy of William's book. Claire thanks Jamal for the gift, but refuses to accept it due to it being expensive. Jamal insists on her keeping it and reassures her it didn't cost him a fortune. Claire asks Jamal if he was trying to indicate something the other night when he was showing her how to play basketball. Jamal tells her to forget about it because of her dad's reaction to Jamal.
I'm not asking for some kind of prenuptial agreement here. It's just a question.
Jamal keeps on playing basketball and scoring for the team each time. Crawford claims to his colleague that he thinks Jamal didn't write his assignments because the improvement in his writing looks too good to be true. Crawford says he is a basketball player from the Bronx, and there's no way he is this good at writing.
Not this good.
William tells Jamal he stopped at one book because he hated how critics interpreted it. Jamal sees a photo album of William's family and time during the World War, feeling sorry for him. Later, Jamal convinces William to attend a basketball game where William wears a hat and glasses to remain unrecognizable. The outing proves difficult for William, who grows tense being around so many people after so long. The noise and energy of the crowd overwhelm him, and when they get separated, William's anxiety intensifies. It's clear that the public world he's avoided for years is not one he's ready to re-enter. His discomfort speaks volumes about the isolation he's lived in, hinting at deep scars that Jamal only begins to understand. Jamal calls out for William, but he can't find him. William couldn't take the crowd anymore and hid to escape the noise. Jamal later finds him and takes him back, but first, he takes him to a stadium William used to visit with his brother.
Why did you bring me here?
Jamal learns that today is William's birthday and wants to relive those memories with him.
I looked it up in the almanac.
William remembers coming here for every game with his brother before the war. Afterward, his brother drifted, turning to alcohol. One night, after William refused to ride from him, his brother drove alone and got into a fatal accident. While William was at the hospital, a nurse brought up his book, and William hated that she mentioned it while his brother lay dying. This poignant moment reveals how deeply the war and its aftermath have affected William, shaping not just his life, but his relationship with the world around him, and offering Jamal a glimpse into the painful past he's kept hidden. After that, everything changed for William. Within 5 months, he buried his brother, his mother, and his father. William thanks Jamal for the entire night. His older brother waited for him outside. It was with the help of his brother that he was able to get to the stadium that late. When his brother asks him who the man is, he tells him he is his teacher.
He's my teacher.
Jamal is summoned by Crawford, who says he should visit it. Crawford tells him they need to have a very honest discussion about his writing. Jamal is confused because he thought he liked his work, but Crawford tells him his work is almost too good and that he believes he didn't write it himself. For Jamal's next assignment, Crawford insists that Jamal come to his office and do his writing there in front of him.
In the meantime, if there's anything you wish to talk about.
Jamal gets pissed about Crawford's reaction and tells William. William tells him about what happened to Crawford's book. Crawford wrote a book about 4 authors who knew how to write correctly, and William was the only one still alive. Crawford convinced the publisher to publish it, but before he could, William called this publisher and other publishers, saying he was in the process of writing a second book. If they wish to bid on it, they should drop Crawford's book. Jamal starts writing in Crawford's office, but can't come up with anything. So he picks up the writing he made in William's house and submits it, even though William says he can't.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Jamal and Crawford get into a heated argument during class after Jamal corrects Crawford's grammar. Crawford feels challenged by Jamal as he answers all of his questions and embarrasses him in front of his students.
Man is the only animal that blushes. Or needs to.
Crawford gets upset and asks him to leave his class immediately. The next day, Jamal gets a call from the principal's office to clarify some points concerning his submission. They asked him if he wants to credit any source material or acknowledge any other writer when turning in his assignment.
Do you wish to do that?
Jamal tells them it is his original work. Crawford then shows Jamal writing in the Times with the same name as Jamal's piece, written by William Forster. Not only is it the same title, but the first paragraph also appears to be the same. They ask him if he has the author's permission or if he has another explanation.
Have you some other explanation? No.
Jamal denies everything and takes full responsibility. Crawford tells him the matter will be further discussed by the board and his fate will be decided, whether he will be kept on probation or get his scholarship taken away. They, however, give him an option to write a letter of apology for his classmates and read it in front of the class. Jamal tells them he will not be doing such a thing and prepares to take his chances at the board's meeting. Crawford then leaves the room, telling Jamal not to question him again in front of his class.
Please return that when you finish.
Jamal goes over to Williams and asks why he had him rewrite something he has published. Jamal tells him he has submitted it and now he's in trouble. William advises him to write the letter of apology, but Jamal refuses to. William and Jamal get into a heated argument and Jamal leaves. Claire's father makes Jamal an offer. If he helps them win the basketball tournament, he will be excused from facing a board meeting that could seal his fate. Jamal, desperate for the chance to avoid the consequences, agrees. He steps onto the court with determination. The game is tight with both teams battling for the lead. As the final moments tick away, the opposing team pulls ahead by a slim margin. Jamal gets the chance to take the game-winning shots, but under the pressure he misses, and his team loses. This moment of defeat brings out a complex mix of frustration and realization, showing Jamal that sometimes, no matter how hard we try, we can't control the outcome. It forces him to confront the weight of external pressure and what it means to fail under the eyes of those who hold power over him. Jamal gets home and writes William a letter after the game. Jamal's older brother finds the letter and gives it to William, telling him about what the school decided on Jamal's fate. It is finally the writing competition day, and other students present their works. Unexpectedly, William shows up to the competition asking to read something. The crowd is surprised by how a famous writer like him attended this event. William reads his writing and gives the students some words of wisdom. Crawford thanks William for his unexpected visit and praises him. William tells him he is here in the place of Jamal, who is denied this chance. The writing he just praised is none other than Jamal's. William tells everyone Jamal kept his secret and that he had William's permission in his writing. Everyone applauds for Jamal, while Crawford is still not convinced about the situation.
That has no bearing.
One of the board members stops Crawford and decides to excuse Jamal from the board meeting. Jamal leaves the scenery full of pride with his reputation intact. William and Jamal parted ways for good, but still kept on writing to each other. Jamal gets many college requests from different colleges in his senior year. One day he gets called to the office, and Jamal thinks it's just another college request for him. But the man tells him he is William's lawyer. The man tells Jamal that William has sadly passed away after years of battling with cancer.
They found it a couple years ago.
William left